I don't know. I've been thinking about my isolationist immigration policies, how I would set up government and society if I had a chance, and I don't know. I think I might be making some mistakes. See, the whole premise is that immigration will increase when prosperity increases. And that will defeat the notion of having a economy that is based off renewable energy. Because a renewable energy culture, as opposed to a disposable energy culture, is that when you have actual renewable energy, you can only keep so many people on it per area of land. The area of land you got is only so productive, and therefore you need a limited population. Now you can do this through limited birth, which would be advisable, and would probably be possible because there would be higher quality of health care, so people could know beforehand if they were pregnant and decide whether they wanted it or not, as in universal health care. I'm talking about a near post-scarcity future and stuff, and how you would take steps to reach this near post-scarcity future. And incremental, well, the steps you take to get there. And the intermediate steps that you have where society will plateau until it takes the next step. And one problem with this, increasingly, becomes immigration, because the higher you raise your standard of living, the more attractive the standard becomes to people outside of the area. So illegal immigration would have to be a first. And since deporting someone back to their native land has little effect, mostly with Cuban and Mexican Americans that are the closest here naturally, you have to have some kind of internment area. I hate to say it, but how are you going to keep people back unless you're going to take costly prison sentences? You have to have somewhere where you can guard a place, but that's just very cruel. So that's not an ideal solution either. So maybe you keep a part of the area restricted to the north and the south for illegal immigrants in that case. And you stop all legal immigration. I'm an isolationist. But now, I ran into a problem recently, because I was thinking that this might have been the solution. This might have been the solution for having a low population, high quality lifestyle choices. In other words, people would be living in opulent conditions. And I think that's very nice. That's what it should be. If you want universal health care, affordable housing, and a living wage, then you have to give up something. Something has to go in the wax and wane nature of the universe. It's just it. And it seems like these things would have to be them. Because if you're going to have a renewable energy resource, then you're very probably, you almost absolutely have to have a limited population. And that's where it gets really tricky. Considering that if you're trying to raise the quality of people's lives, you aren't going to arbitrarily go out and just cull the population either. Because that doesn't raise anybody's quality of life. You know. No Logan's Run. Or survival of the fittest. No more Darwinian manifestos. No. I don't care if I was blonde and tall. That wouldn't be it. Yeah, because I was talking to a friend of mine on the internet, and she is a someone adopted from Korea, and it's like, well, on my plan, she wouldn't have been here, because mostly what my legislature would have done would have tried to stop the illegal immigration from Cuba and Mexico, and paradoxically, as for deportation, besides whites, blacks would be the safest. Because they got here on the slave ships. So no one would be deporting them until the whites are gone. And what are we going to do with somebody who lived their whole life here and was born here? So that's why I'm thinking it doesn't work, because it doesn't take into account the human factor. Or somebody who was born here and lives here and just knows here, Well, how are you going to send them back to a place where they don't speak the language and they're just basically Americans? That's just, people are going to get a whiff of that and go, no, thank you. Especially if they're one of the people of color who might find themselves deported, or renaturalized in a foreign land. I know I wouldn't like it. What the hell would I do in Scotland or Ireland or France? I'd be like, okay, here's the boat ticket, here's the freaking shore. Now you're in Scotland. What are you going to do with yourself? There's no welfare office? Oh, geez. I don't know if there's not, but, what the hell, And I can imagine even more fun places in, the world where the people are trying to escape from. But of course, you couldn't send them back there, so you'd have to cram them down in friggin' lower states somewhere, lower half of the lower states or the upper half of the upper states. So friggin', mainstream America has less population. But then again, you got the problem with the same population anyway, just in a more condensed form. So unless you're going to not pay for your frigging quality of life for them, the same cost, you've got the same problem. How the hell is there any solution? I don't know. There's got to be a solution. You need lower population to freaking create a higher standard of living with a more beneficial society to ourselves and to the world. I don't know. Try.